Here we are again, everybody. Welcome in. It's your weekly edition of the Full 10 Questions. Tim on a 4-1 season record, highly impressive. And even more impressive, mate, I've got to say, is your background. That's a lovely new abode you've got yourself there, mate. How are you doing this evening?
Yeah, very well. I teased it on the podcast tonight. It'd be one for finally after years of lacking in internet and my own home, I moved house. So yeah, happy. This is just the first part. Going to get some bits on the wall, some jerseys and that. But yeah, work in progress. But happy so far.
Absolutely, mate. No, all good to see. From my point of view, good to see you've got some reliable internet connection as well after 12 months of suffering with delay and all sorts of problems. But anyway, that's a first world problem, isn't it? So,
It is.
anyway, let's welcome in, mate, your challenger for the week. A man hoping to get the second win for the challengers on the season. Welcoming Chris Lawton to the quiz. Chris, how are you, my friend?
I'm good, thank you very much. How are you?
I am very well indeed, mate. So we can obviously find you as part of the 99-yard group. I believe we were just talking before we hit the record button. You have the unenviable task of being the chief Canadian Football League writer, which in a year of COVID has obviously caused you a few problems, I believe, my friend.
That is correct. There's not a lot to write about at the minute because there's not a lot happening. We should be in the run into the playoffs, but obviously there's none of that happening at the minute. So there's a lot of nostalgia and looking back and trying to find some fun facts for people. But Canadian football goes back further even than the NFL does, so there's a lot to plumb there.
No, absolutely, mate. Great work that you're doing, and obviously keep it going. Obviously, fingers crossed, mate, and fingers crossed for everybody that we get through the other end of all of this lot and we can get back to some sense of normality. But here we are.
I suppose the CFL and Dallas have a lot in common this season. They play off football.
Hey, you're not that far out of the playoffs in the NFC East. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but so far away.
Nobody's that far out in the NFC East. Anyway,
I saw a stat today. I saw that the Washington Redskins are one game back from the playoffs, but also one game away from the first overall pick. How about that after week 6?
There you
Wow.
go. I mean, that is a whole new level of awfulness, isn't it? Let's be honest, ladies and gents, that is pretty awful. Anyway, we've got to hurry up, fellas, because we're recording this on a Thursday evening as usual, and we can't wait to watch the Giants against the Eagles tonight on Thursday Night Football, can we? So let's move right along and let's get into it. Tim defending, like I say, that 4-1 record. Chris, good luck to you, my friend. Adam's still the man to beat. Adam has become Tim's biggest supporter, it seems, at the minute, cheering on Tim every week. But Chris, let's see if you can get a win. Here we go, fellas. Let's start you off with this week's full 10 questions. So, question number 1 coming at you is: how many teams scored 10 points or less in week 6? Was it 3? Was it 4? Was it 5? Or was it 6 teams that scored 10 or less points? I will give you a freebie, fellas. The Jets are one of those teams. There you go. Joe Flacco and co there after yet another abysmal showing in week number 6. But how many others joined them? Both plumped for 3, but in fact it was 4 teams, fellas. So joining the Jets in the poor column this week were the Browns, who managed just a measly 7, and then the Packers and the Cowboys scored 10 apiece in their respective games. So it was 4 teams who scored 10. So obviously no movement on the scoreboard for question 1. Let's move straight on then, boys. Question 2. Let's see if this one's any kinder. Which player caught the first of Jimmy G's 3 touchdown passes against the Rams? Was it Brandon Ayuk? Was it Deebo Samuel? Was it Raheem Mostert or George Kittle? So we talked about it on the pod. Bit of a bounce-back game for Jimmy G. But who caught the first of his 3 touchdown passes? And yes, they're both off the mark there, the fellas. It was indeed Deebo Samuel. Caught it early in the first quarter. Good for the 49ers to have him back. And obviously he will get fitter every week that he suits up. Moving straight on to question 3. Who led the Pittsburgh Steelers in sacks against the Cleveland Browns? Was it TJ Watt? Was it Cam Hayward? Was it Stephon Tuitt? Or was it Bud Dupree?
I know how many Dupree got.
Well, I have to say, as a Browns fan, it felt like every play was a sack. Let's be honest. They were certainly spending plenty of time camped in the backfield. But who got there most often? 3 seconds for an answer, Tim. Lock it in. He's gone for it. It was
Yeah,
Bud Dupree.
I know he
So,
got.
yeah.
I know he got two, and I just I don't know how many anyone else got.
Yeah, it was Bud Dupree. And I've got to be honest, when I wrote this question, I was a little bit surprised myself because I would have, if you'd have asked me the question without me looking at the stats, I'd have probably gone for TJ Watt.
Yeah.
But it was Bud Dupree. TJ Watt actually didn't register a sack despite seemingly being in Baker Mayfield's face for the whole day and giving Jack Conklin quite the afternoon at right tackle. But yeah, Bud Dupree with a couple of sacks, as Tim said. Scoreboard didn't come up last time, fellas, so be prepared. We might move straight to question 4. No, we have indeed got a scoreboard, and there we are. There we are, folks. That's where we stand. Tim in the lead after 3 questions. So come on, Chris, let's see if you can do it for the challengers. Question 4 coming up. Which receiver recorded the most yards for the Dolphins in week 6? Was it Mike Gesicki? Was it Devontae Parker, Adam Shaheen, or Jakeem Grant? So, yeah, the Dolphins obviously shut the Jets out, but how much offense did they generate? And importantly, which one of those 4 guys actually led the team in terms of yardage?
I'm gonna go with him. He's been all right recently. Yeah.
So Gesicki actually was held to a goose egg, believe it or not, gents. He was none for
Yeah.
none. Devontae Parker, I think he was probably the most targeted, but didn't generate an awful lot of yards. Jakeem Grant had the biggest reception on
The
the day.
absolute shame.
Look at that. There you go. There's a nice bit of memory
Mike Gesicki doesn't know what that looks like.
there. But it was Adam Shaheen. He's actually stealing some of Gesicki's targets,
He
isn't he?
is. Yeah.
Yeah, and he ended up with 51 yards on the day, including the first touchdown of the day. I know
Yeah, that's
Adam
2 in a
tipped
week.
that up. I
Yeah,
know
Adam loves it. Adam Shaheen.
Yeah, Adam tipped him up. I think we had a few people get a. Was it? He was a very, very big price as well.
22 1, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, very big price. So yeah, there we go. Question 5 then, fellas. Is your picture round? Who is this in this week 6 image? Obviously, a bit like catchphrase, it will appear slowly. There are 2 players in this, gents, but I'm looking for the guy that is predominantly the one in the picture. In theory, there you go. Not the Vikings defender.
Which one's it going to be? I need that. Yeah, that's all right.
So there we go. The number has been revealed. Is that all that people need? It could possibly be.
I think I've got my numbers right. I'm pretty sure it's him.
The image pretty much in full. There you go. And it was indeed Julio Jones. Well done, fellas. Both of you getting that one correct. Yeah, Julio back from injury. And there you go. There's the picture in full on your screens. A nice day for Julio Jones. Grabbed himself a couple of touchdowns as the Falcons recorded their first win of the season. So halfway point, Tim in the lead as we move into the back half, but still pretty much all to play for. Let's move in then, fellas, to question number 6. And this is your either or question. In the Eagles Ravens, what covered more yardage? Was it Carson Wentz's longest rush of the day, or was it Lamar Jackson's longest rush of the day? So I usually ask a quarterback question in terms of who threw for more yardage, but in this particular game, I'm looking for which quarterback actually recorded the longest rush of the day.
I don't think.
Just sat there thinking, is this a trick question? Is this a trick question?
Yeah. It normally is. I thought he might double cross it this week.
There is no such thing as a trick question, boys. I always give you a genuine answer. It was indeed Carson Wentz, probably the man that you wouldn't think, but his longest trot of the day covered 40 yards, believe it or not. Lamar Jackson, although it seemed every Baltimore Ravens highlight was a Lamar Jackson run, his longest of the day actually only covered 37. So yeah, Carson Wentz was the correct answer there. Well done at home if any of you playing along got that one right. Now change to the scoreboard. Let's move on then, fellas. Question 7. Need you to think about some kickers. Which field goal kicker did not hit a 55-yarder in week 6? So, Cairo Santos, Justin Tucker, Randy Bullock, and Brandon McManus. All 4 had good performances. All 4 have got very strong legs, but which one of them did not hit a 55-yarder during the week?
I remember who Cora Santos plays for. So I'm going to go. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go Justin Tucker.
You were wrong to go Tucker. Santos, Tucker,
nice.
and Bullock all converted from 55, and despite converting on 6 field goals, Brandon McManus's longest of the day, just a measly 54 yards, Tim.
I was going to say, I knew he was 53 and 54, so I thought it was 55 in there as well.
No, just the 54. I mean, I don't know why they bother paying him, to be honest, if he can only convert from 54, but yeah, there you go. But he did obviously score all of the Broncos' points. So Chris pulls the score back, and it's now very much all to play for. So let's move on, fellas, to question number 8. And I want to know this time, which of these quarterbacks threw for the least yards in a winning effort? So we have Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady, Drew Luck, and Daniel Jones. I can tell you that all of them threw for less than 200 yards in a winning effort, but which one of them actually threw for the least amount of yardage?
I know what Roethlisberger got. I'm going to go with that one.
Oh, they both went for Drew Luck. Drew Luck, believe it or not, fellas, actually had the most out of all of those. Look, he had 189 yards. Yeah, Daniel Jones, he managed a whopping 112 yards passing for the New York Giants. When we talk about the NFC least, we really do mean it, ladies and gentlemen. 112 yards in a losing effort. Absolutely incredible. But yeah, Daniel Jones, actually his first touchdown toss since week number 1 to Darius Slayton early. Well, that was pretty much about as good as it got, unfortunately. So there you go. Yeah, DJ, 112 yards. No change on the scoreboard. Still all very much to play for. Question 9 then, boys. How many carries did Derrick Henry register on his way to over 200 yards rushing? Was it 22? Was it 26? Was it 30? Or was it 34? Obviously, we had overtime in this ball game as well, but they all count. And it
come on.
It was indeed 22. So somebody went for the big one, somebody went for 34, but it was indeed just the 22 yards. So yeah, Derrick Henry's been piling up the yardage. It's got to be said all year long, hasn't he? But to be fair, he's sort of plodded along. To be fair, at around about 3 yards a carry, but absolutely exploded in this one.
I knew that answer because I knew that I saw somewhere that he had a really inefficient first half. Then he had the big one in the second half. I think he had like 10 carries for 130 odd yards in the second half or something stupid like that.
Yeah, a 94 yarder will certainly help your statistics, won't it? Yeah. So yeah, 22 carries was all that Henry needed, as the Titans obviously continue to remain unbeaten. So Tim has probably pulled out far enough in front, but let's complete it anyway, and let's get to the last question. Question 10, as always, put these in order. Rank the receivers in terms of yardage. So start with the most and end with the least. So the 4 receivers I've got for you fellas are Julio Jones, Keelan Cole, T. Higgins, and Justin Jefferson. So they were all the 4 leading receivers on the week in terms of yardage. So I'm certainly not trying to catch you out, but I want them in the order that they actually recorded those yardage totals.
I'll go with that, I think. I know who's top. I know who's top. And then
that's all I know, I think.
You press the green button.
I've only got one answer in, so just make sure you submit your answers, boys.
If you press the K, the K button.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine, mate. Not a problem at all. You only get bonus points for speed if you get them right, so hopefully it was worth the wait. We got Justin Jefferson as the leader, Keelan Cole, then Julio Jones, then T. Higgins. Really encouraging, I suppose, for the league that 2 of those guys, obviously rookies, and certainly standing out for their respective teams. So that is the end of the quiz. I think we know who has won on the week. We obviously don't know how the last question went, but as usual, nobody finishes third in a 2-horse race. But second, Chris, 3 out of 10, and Tim extends his season record to a 5-1 with a 6 out of 10. So a reasonable performance, Tim. moves to 5-1. Chris,
Yeah.
you did say before we hit that all-important record button that you would actually be happy with any more than 2 out of 10. So you've certainly
100%, because
you've met your own expectations, my friend, at least.
Yeah, watching the last few back, 2's my average. So 3 coming on and actually getting 1 more. I'm happy with that.
Yeah, we're all winners. We're all winners.
Well, I am glad
That's easy for you to say. You won.
Well, yeah.
I am glad you were pleased with it. And as I say to all the guys that come on and give this a whirl, we do genuinely appreciate anybody sparing 10, 15 minutes of their time every week to come and take us on and have a bit of fun. It is all for a bit of a laugh. And obviously there will be a prize at the end of the season if you can come and take Tim down. So Chris, really appreciate you coming on this week. Where can all of our full 10 yards listeners and readers and viewers find you and all the good work that you're doing?
You can find my work on the 99 Yards website. You can sometimes hear me on the 99 Yards podcast. And you will also find me on Twitter at CFLFanUK.
Excellent, mate. Really, really appreciate you coming on. Wish you all the luck for the rest of the season, and hopefully, like you say, it's not too difficult to find some good content with everything that's going on in the world of the CFL.
Thank you.
Tim, obviously now, mate, 5-1 on the season. You must be pleased.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, another 6 out of 10. So generally is the benchmark. So it's not bad. Anyone listening or anyone watching that thinks we've got more than 6 on that, come and give us a go.
No, absolutely, mate. As much as I am very much on brand in terms of the full 10 yards, please somebody come and beat him, because I have to put up with his smugness every single week. Somebody can come and take him down, I am sure. We will, of course, be back on the YouTube channel next week with your next edition of the Full 10 Questions. And, of course, you'll have all your regular articles, podcasts, and all that good stuff that we do throughout the week. But until then, absolute pleasure. Thanks once again to Chris for joining us. And as usual, in the great words of Kevin Cadle, it's bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.